It's March 15th, the Ides of March. It is also my 46th birthday. And I have a lot of things that I want to talk about. There is a lot going on, both things that are like breaking in the news right now today, but also just some kind of greater overarching themes. So I will be making a number of videos here and on my other account, and then uploading them to YouTube as soon as I possibly can. But before I get into all of the current events stuff, I thought I would take a little time here in this video and talk about how we do birthdays and family celebrations in our household in a kind of anti-consumerist, anti-capitalist, de-influenced, frugal household, the way that we honor and celebrate each other. Now, I am a big fan, especially for women, especially for mothers who often get forgotten when it comes to birthdays and holidays. I'm a big fan of us choosing our own birthday presents, choosing what we want, and making an attempt, an effort to celebrate ourselves. I think that's very important. So after a brutally long day yesterday, a very, very difficult day, I went out and got myself a birthday present. I am enjoying it right now, actually. I posted about this last night where I said tomorrow's my 46th birthday and I've been working really, really hard. So I went out and I got myself a bottle of basically like pine schnapps from Austria, Ides. And I decided I was going to spend the evening no longer working. I've been putting in basically like 12-hour days, at least 7 days a week right now. And so I kicked back. I had a glass of Ides and then a glass of scotch and whatever. And I finished my audiobook and I got some knitting done and I hung out with my kids. Not in general a fan of very sweet drinks. I prefer things that are more herby and have kind of a stronger, more unusual flavor. Generally prefer to drink single malt scotch in the winter and then gin in the summer. I also really like a bunch of different kinds of very herby schnapps. Also kind of other herby liqueurs like Becherovka from Czech Republic, things like that. But this, I don't know how to describe it. This is, don't judge me for having the wrong kind of glass. I am using one of my mom's glasses from Germany, but I don't know how to describe it other than, okay, if I were to describe it in like a kind of romantic way, I would say it is like a walk through the Tillamook forest on a rainy evening or something like that. But really, I tend to describe it as it's like drinking a glass of pine sol, but in the very best possible way. It is extremely piney. It is like chewing on pine needles, but also fabulous, also just so good. And because it is so strong and so intense, you can only drink a very small amount of it. A bottle, while expensive, lasts a long time. So we've never really been big on birthdays or holidays. They're not extravagant. We don't give expensive gifts. We don't blow our budget. We don't feel a sense of pressure just to buy a gift because you need to get somebody something. The gifts that we do give tend to be homemade or thrifted. There are some exceptions to that, things like art supplies. Even books and things I try to find used rather than new. In general, birthdays are very low-key affairs and holidays are very low-key affairs for us. I don't think that we should fall into the trap of going into debt or feeling like we have to buy in to a capitalist idea of the way that we celebrate people is that we buy them things that they don't really need that will end up inevitably in the waste stream, going to the landfill or sent to the thrift store probably relatively quickly. We try to do experiences, celebrate each other, spend time with each other, play games, go on a hike. Maybe we might do something like go to the Japanese garden, or we might go to the $2 movie theater. My 3 eldest kids are really busy studying for finals, and my second kid is helping coach her former high school mock trial team today. So, we're not really doing anything. I think, in 2025, we are all trying to spend less. We're trying to withhold our pennies from the economy. We are trying to be de-influenced. We are trying to learn to not be victims of capitalism, right? We are trying to exercise the power that we have by withholding our pennies from the economy, right? That is a way that we can feel empowered and be empowered and have a cumulative impact on the folks who are actively making our quality of life rapidly deteriorate. I just want to encourage you. We have lived very much in a culture of treat yourself and you can fix your problems through shopping, that shopping is therapy. And I think we have all had a very rude awakening that, well, 1, we can no longer afford to live that way. But 2, that living that way was not something that brought us joy and satisfaction. It didn't make our lives measurably better. And we as Americans were really falling prey to the marketing of corporations, buying their false narrative about what would make us feel satisfied, about what the American experience is supposed to be. And in reality, it just puts us in debt. The average American household has something like $40,000 in credit card debt. And then it just left us feeling empty, and we were not more connected to the people in our communities. We were not more satisfied with our lives. We were not more in tune with ourselves. We were not enjoying ourselves anymore by buying stuff. We were making ourselves more stressed. We were having to work more hours in order to pay for the things that we were buying for ourselves and other people that did not make our lives better, and often, again, ended up being gotten rid of very quickly. And I don't know, I guess I just want to encourage y'all not to see the blackouts, the boycotts that are happening as a deprivation for you. This is an opportunity to reclaim your power in 2025, to reframe, reorient, establish a new relationship with material goods and the way that you shop and spend your time, your energy, your hard-earned dollars. And say, like, I'm not actually going to clutter up my house with stuff. I'm not going to rack up a bunch of credit card bills. I'm not going to freely gift my pennies and therefore my life hours to corporations, to billionaires that are actively exploiting me. That is a really, really good feeling. That is something that our family has practiced for, 2.5 decades, and it has been a very satisfying experience. Obviously, there are times when we have to buy something new. There are times that we do not have the opportunity to always buy used. And sometimes, we want to treat ourselves to a bottle of chewing on pine needles schnapps. I'm a really big fan of gamifying things. How can we make it fun? How can we make it something that does not feel like we are depriving ourselves, but instead we're like solving a puzzle, or we are going on a little adventure. And that makes it much easier to not buy things new. How many dollars can I save this month, right? The goal is not how many things can I buy, but like how much can I grow my bank account? Or how much room can I clear out in my closet? How much more space can I make in my home by getting rid of things that I don't need and not filling up those spaces with more junk? How can I enjoy more space, kind of rest for my eye, and less material possessions to dust and to take care of? And this is something that I have said repeatedly, and I really want to emphasize it again, that there is a tremendous amount of satisfaction that comes with living out your values, living with integrity. For me, that means, am I aligning my purchases, the way that I am relating to a consumer society, with my ethics of earth care, people care, and fair share? And when I do that as best as I am able within a capitalist system where it's not possible to do things perfectly, that feels really good. There is something that is like, there's nothing else that compares to living with integrity and living within your values. As you're kind of reorienting your relationship to consumerism in an effort to unmake the billionaires that are trying to unmake us, see if you can gamify it. See if you can find new and intriguing ways to have celebrations, to have birthdays, ways you can kind of be inventive and creative and think outside the box about how you put together those celebrations. So for example, my sister is trying not to buy anything new either, and she knows that we really appreciate used gifts. We really appreciate things that are bought secondhand. She's really taken to hunting online for clothes that she knows that we like, and that's especially useful for us as very tall people who need clothes that are in size tall, right? She has been making that her own little adventure, right? To hunt down the perfect used item within her budget that fits our unique size as a family and our unique style. So she got me this shirt. Hang on. She ended up getting me this tunic. It's got pockets in it. It's from Duluth Trading. It is a tall. It was used. It has little mushrooms on it, little woodland creatures. It's very different than what I normally wear, but I really love it. And I love the color scheme on it. So I'm super thrilled. And I love the fact that she didn't buy something new. She saved her pennies, and also she didn't have to purchase something for me that required water and resources and carbon to be produced. It was already there, used. I'm running out of time here. I want to get into my regular content, but I want to also plug really quickly the book that I finished last night while I was enjoying my knitting and my Sia Bens. I've been reading a lot of heavy stuff, so in between books that are, about history and philosophy and struggle for civil rights, etc., I try to intersperse with a little bit of chick lit, and I loved this book. This is Funny You Should Ask by Alyssa Sussman. The narrator is fabulous, and of course I got it from the library because we're trying not to spend any money. We're definitely trying not to use Audible or Kindle, which are owned by Bezos. If you need a good chick lit book, highly recommend. Okay, I'm going to get this uploaded, and I'm going to get to my regular content because there's all kinds of stuff I want to cover.